to the Macks. Trying to make some good moves out here. Let me make sure my camera is right because there's no point to be talking. There we go. We're back. Obviously, football continue to roll, but we got some topics kind of off of that. Did you want to just start hitting the past games, or do you want to talk about the big topic when it comes to sports and travel?
Oh no, I want to hit the past games.
No. We don't need to do that. I don't even know. I don't know what you're talking about.
There's one game in particular that I would like to highlight.
What game is that?
There was a game played in Bloomington, Indiana, at 12 o'clock on Saturday.
Doesn't ring a bell. Does not ring one bell.
Does 38-3 ring a bell?
Getting a little warmer. Just a little warmer.
Let's just look at some of these stats from this Uconn game.
You know what? Let's not talk stats. Let's talk adversity. Let's talk adversity.
What adversity? Hold on. Uconn football was in the Fiesta Bowl in 2010. That's it. That's within this decade, right?
That is correct.
Okay. Indiana has not been to, at the time, right? That was a BCS bowl. Indiana has not been to that big of a bowl,
right?
Really ever, right? So, How does 38-3 happen?
Well, I'll tell you how 38-3 happens. 38-3 happens because, and this is just being frank as it is. This is exactly what happens. You have a successful coach, wants to go for another move. That's life. Life happens, goes for the other move. But in that transition period, you have an administration that failed the school, point blank, period, from an athletic department standpoint and who they brought in next. Because you weren't looking at where the future of the game was going, you took numbers from the past, and this is what happens when it comes to a lot of coaches in the NFL for recycling, but you expect that type of magic, even though it could be past eras that was happened, to happen then and there for you in the present, which is not necessarily the case. So then you have a philosophy that doesn't translate into W's, even though you have a lot of talent on those teams. So that can only get you by for so far. And then inevitably, when you're not winning, that coach gets fired, and you have continual transition of coaches that are going to come through, hopefully hoping to bring their philosophy into a program or into a program and make it successful when you haven't fully been proven in some cases. And so then you continue to get set back recruiting class because you have different philosophies and strategies that you want to bring in. And so then when you have that all happening internally, externally, you have conference realignment. And when conference realignment happens and you don't have the big money backers behind you to do that conference-wise now, because we didn't go to the ACC because I believe, like Boston College wants to be the only New England school. Whatever. That's the politics game that happens. And then you fall into a conference that isn't the sexiest conference. Now you don't have those recruits that Indiana has, because Indiana's in the Big Ten. Was the worst team in the Big Ten for however, and has sparked up. Kellen Lewis was great there in 2010. No. Let me talk my talk. I got at least another 15 seconds. Okay. You can cut me off when it says 4:10. So Kellen Lewis came through in 2010, turned that program around. But then you've had mediocrity, and then you've had this coach that has come along in the past 3 years. And yes, you have started and you've had good success. You've had bowl games. I think you went to the New York Pinstripe Bowl, I believe, one time. But you have the Big Ten Conference behind you to always be the biggest recruiting tool for you. So when you don't have that to help your school, and then you're also internally having struggles, it's two negatives here doesn't make a right, and then now you're trying to correct years worth being behind in the game. So that's where you have 38-3. But let's not shy away when you guys came to Rentschler. Sorry, I went over by 15. When you guys came to Rentschler, we beat you by the similar number, I believe. It was like 40-10. You're welcome.
But at the time, right? You guys were in the Big East. Yeah, y'all are playing in games against like Notre Dame, things like that.
But the Big East dissolved in 2011.
I know this. Okay. Hey man, I let you get all that out. I get it.
All right, let me put myself on mute. Let me put myself on mute.
There's no need to put yourself on mute. The only thing I have to say, I felt bad for you yesterday, right? Having to sit there, or excuse me, Saturday, right? Having to sit there and endure. First off, they didn't even play it on the regular Big Ten network. If you were not in the Midwest, you had to go to the extra Big Ten network or stream it online. So that's first off, right? Just that's kind of for both of us, right? That's just rude off the bat. But then, right, it's a sluggish game for Indiana. The announcers are like, Indiana's not really doing a lot of stuff, blah, blah. We got a backup QB in. Next thing you know, pick sixes start happening, missed field goals, and the game is just a wash. I feel bad because at one point, right, it has to hurt your soul knowing that Indiana is not a football school. And I hope it someday it will be, right? But we just beat that ass.
No, all right, you really didn't. I will say that your wide receiver had a good game. We had that pick six because the kid wanted to be like Favre.
You guys had 145 total yards.
But you have to look at the season and look at how our offense is. I was hoping we would have better movement. It was terrible movement. I'm not arguing the fact that we had terrible production on offense. I'm saying our offense.
Hold on. You scored 23 points against Illinois, and then you came into Indiana and had 145 total yards.
I understand that, but okay. I'm saying first game versus Wagner, the offensive production stalled out, even though we won that game. Illinois, which I tried to watch the game, we had better production. Defense played great as well. Then you had pick six like you had at Indiana. So you had miscues on offense again. And like Al Pacino says, it's a game of inches. That's the difference between winning and losing.
That was a really bad Al Pacino.
I'm not Italian, but that's exactly what it is. It's you really have to. There are. If you really look at a game, there are 3, maybe 4 plays if you're lucky that can flip the momentum of a game entirely.
This is true. I was going to talk about this with Matt Ryan. I totally agree with that. But
so with that pick six.
The pick six had nothing to do with that.
It really didn't because the offense wasn't doing anything the entire day.
Okay,
but
so let's stop harping on the pick six then.
I'm saying you have these miscues that continue to happen, and if it's a young team, you have a snowball effect. And when there was just no offensive movement, you needed something good to go for the team. Just something maybe lucky. And then you're like, you know what? We can flip it because you come out at halftime, you're down 2 scores, then you throw a pick six, now you're down 3. Unanticipated. No, you gave Indiana a gimme to take off on you, and that flips the game.
Such a bad play.
It was a bad play, and then that flips the game completely. So instead of you having a 3, I feel like everybody gonna be like, man, why they yelling about UConn football when they were 1-something last year and IU? Because it's dear to me. It's still real to me. Damn it. You know, remember that wrestling video?
Oh yeah, when the kid, yeah.
But no, we have had. Let's look at the positive. UConn averaged in giving up last year 49 points a game, 50 points a game. We have not given up 50 points this year. I will say the defense has improved. That's a drop in the bucket for improvement, and that's all you got. We'll continue. We will be back. There are dark days. And then the light always comes out in the morning. I'm not going to say that. I wasn't going to say the Dark Knight quote because everybody says it's Dark Knight quote. I don't want to go.
I was going to say that's not how that goes.
It's not. I just wanted to flip it. I wanted to make it my own. It's a T-Mecism.
I got you. We can move on. I just wanted to make sure that we highlighted the fact that Indiana football beat that ass.
Well, since it is the fall, because I'm going off of football for about 10 minutes. I can't do football right now. But since it's the fall, that means at Maxwell. That's what you need to have, something silky smooth in your fridge right there. Do I need to hit that note one more time? Should we hit that note one more time? That's a solid song.
It's an amazing song.
All that does is note it is fall season. The wind. Actually, it was 90 degrees today. Disrespectful.
I was gonna say it's 90 here as well. It's the first day of fall, right?
First day of fall, 90 degrees.
That's pretty crazy.
Global warming, glaciers melting, polar bears swimming around. If you remember the Al Gore videos, but it's supposed to get cooler. Well, you don't remember those videos? You don't remember the?
I don't remember anything about Al Gore. I'm not gonna lie to you.
I feel like every high school in America, circa 2000.
Not to say he's dead. I don't know why I said that.
No, I just irrelevant was what I picked up from what you were saying.
Yep.
But that like video of global warming and polar bear, not to make light of global warming, but that video and was just one of those like, come on, dude, this could do this in a better way to gather some steam here, support wise. But when the fall comes around, that means you gotta have them things up in your fridge, boy. You gotta have them right essentials for when you have somebody come over. Whether that's a girl, you invited a guy over, girl, you invited a girl over, guy, you got a girl over, guy, you got a guy coming over. Doesn't matter who you got coming over. But you gotta have the right things in the fridge, in the pantry. You know what I'm saying?
I heard this phrase for the first time the other day, and it was, you can't have a serial killer fridge. And I was like, ooh, that actually makes a ton of sense, right? Like you can't just have like beer, cheese, and bread in your fridge if you're trying to participate in cuffing season, which is tough because I get it, because it's tough, especially now with like Grubhub and Uber Eats. Everybody doesn't grocery shop like they used to, right? But you have to seem like you have some things together in your life, right? You got to have, some fruit, some vegetables, orange juice, milk. I actually don't drink a lot of milk personally, but yeah, you know what I mean? I think it's kind of interesting as you start to get into this season. Plus, you're just not going out all the time. It's colder.
Right. You don't want to.
It's darker a little earlier.
When it gets colder, the bars get more packed, the restaurants get more packed, and you're like, I don't feel like dealing with it. Let me cook in my place. Let me drink on my own dime if I want to sip a little bit and save some money. The fall and the winter is a perfect time if you really want to save money. This is where you can save money, still look like you're very social, and not leave the dwelling of your home if you choose not to.
Let me ask you this about the cuffing season, our fall season, as we have entered into.
Yes, sir.
Do you feel like it is a normal, like, do you push the person that you are now cuffing? Do you take them to family outings, or do you only take them to like friends events, right? Because that's kind of what it should be, right?
How deep are we dating?
Well, that's the thing, right? It's catch and release. So are you really trying to, I mean, you could, right? If your family is chill and they're not going to ask a million questions.
Too many questions. Too early.
Right?
If it's catch and release season, no. We're just going to friends events. Hey, I got a Friendsgiving.
Right, exactly.
I don't know if you ever heard of that, but yeah,
if you live in you live in Seattle and you're from Atlanta or something like that, right? And you're like, oh, I'm staying here for Christmas. It makes sense to bring the person you are cuffing to that event. I don't think you bring them to family events.
No, family events it's too much, because you walk in. Who's your new friend? This is okay. How long is this one staying around? And then you gotta hear all these. You don't want to hear all these little side drops happening. You don't need that, because family tells the truth for the most part. Others can help cover for you if that's the case, but the family gonna dime you out if it comes out, because barbecue might be happening. It's perfect time to be outside, just enjoy company, and then some people get too comfortable. So yeah, you gotta keep it. If you're doing a catch and release fall to cuffing season, yeah, you gotta just stay at the friends events. But leads back to I think that's a great point. You cannot have a fridge that makes you look like you are the next Dexter. And that is, like Sterling just described, just one Brita filter of water, maybe one Tupperware, and like, I don't know if you put bread in your fridge also. I have no clue, but bare bones essentials in your fridge. It needs to be stocked. Pantry needs to be stocked. But all right, let me ask you this question. So at what age can you stop you or what? At what age does the excuse not work for you anymore in saying, well, I don't want to put a lot of stuff into my apartment or into my fridge because, I'm not going to be here for that long. Or, it's just, I'm just trying to grind out here. I play some video games. I watch just a couple shows on TV. That's all I need. Boom, boom, bam.
I think once you have a more serious job, right? I think once you hit a certain level job wise, I don't think it has anything. Maybe a little bit with age, right? If you're starting to get kind of close to 30, you should probably I guess everybody's grinding, right? I hate when people say that. Like I'm out here grinding.
Right.
What the hell? What does that mean? But yeah, I feel like if you kind of go from that, like you're on the road all the time, you're like a sales rep or something, and then you kind of move up or whatever, you kind of move from that field role to whatever, you move from doing a ton of just like crazy overtime work as a like junior analyst or something, and you move into that role where you're not doing all that type of stuff. Like I feel like at that point, right, when you feel like you're a little bit more solidified work wise, you should be a little bit more solidified with what you have at home.
I agree. Okay. But I was going for, like, you've seen the pictures that always come through like Twitter where it's just a couch, a TV stand, that's it, and it's in the apartment.
Yeah, that doesn't work. I don't get that.
It's unacceptable.
I don't understand that at all.
Like there's ways to be comfortable and be a minimalist at the same time without making yourself seem as if you're crazy.
Right.
That's okay with me, but I can't, like, you walk in, there's nothing, like, where am I sitting?
There's like a milk crate. They're like, oh, sit on that.
I got you right there. Like, okay, where's the table? Give me 1 second. Let me put TV down. Let me slide this. Like, what are we doing here? No, grow up. This is ridiculous.
It is. I mean, it's tough though. So some people want to keep it like very simple and also some people don't want to leave that mentality or that feeling that they had when they were like in college, especially if they have a roommate. You know what I mean?
That's true. Sometimes it's hard to shake the college feel.
It's tough to shake that feel, right? And that can also be kind of tough if you're in cuffing season, like people coming over, you got roommates, the living room's kind of messy, like awkward.
So what type of wine do you need to always keep on you? And what's the minimum number of bottles you just need to keep around? If you're past them being you can be a minimalist, but you want to stock up a little bit. You want to make your place look more presentable, more comfortable when people come. Hey, can I get a glass? Hey, yeah, no problem. Go ahead. What 2 bottles? Maybe have 3 bottles of wine. What do you need to have look wise for the season coming up?
I think it's always like 2 to 3, right? Because not everybody drinks wine like that, but you should have wine on deck. You should have both. You should have red and white, because obviously you can't drink rosé anymore. Well, I mean you can, but like that doesn't make sense, right?
It's very frowned. It's frowned upon drinking Moscato. Now it's crazy how
you say Moscato. I said rosé. Moscato,
I was putting them all. Moscato? I was putting them all into the same boat. Rosé, Moscato.
They're not in the same boat.
Riesling. What else?
Well, that's different, but they're not in the same boat.
Okay. Well, maybe I'm telling them. I don't drink Moscato. I really haven't drank Moscato, and
I mean it's okay if you still drink Moscato.
But why is Moscato looked down upon so much? Like Walker put one song out.
I was about to say, do you still drink it because of that one song?
Purely. If I do, I will probably throw it on in the background and then just start bopping with it. That's exactly what I would probably do. But no, it's exactly what I do. First thing that pops in my head.
I mean, it's so sweet. I don't know
how you sip Moscato and drop it to the. I didn't have that queued up, so I can't throw that.
Yeah, you didn't. Actually, we saw him perform that, which is kind of cool.
I don't
know if you were there.
Talking about Lakewood Stadium?
No, I was talking about Wale in Chicago.
Oh, I don't want to hear Chicago and Wale in the same line.
Okay.
I don't want to hear that. No, we saw Waka like at the height when like Waka Drake was throwing out at that like his first like summer national tour series, which was dope.
Oh, I remember that. I remember Take Care when Drake did Take Care.
Have you gone to a lot of concerts lately? I know like fall time is big for concerts too.
Not lately, but I mean, kind of.
Do you kind of feel like you've missed out on like good performers because I just don't feel like taking the time to buy the tickets? They're kind of getting expensive now, but like You saw Drake out at Oracle Arena, and you were like, it was the dopest concert.
Yeah, I mean, I love seeing people live. The only one that I've missed that I'm like upset about was John Mayer came through, and he's just everything about John Mayer is amazing. His performances, what he does on the guitar, obviously the songs. But yeah, it's tough because if you like hip hop, it's tough because there's some people you can't go see Future live, right? It makes you then, like, to me, March Madness is one of the best songs ever created. But then if you listen to Future do it live, you're like, it makes you underappreciate what he can actually do, right? And that sounds kind of weird, but there's some people
Because of the auto tune,
kind of, but it's also like he's just not a great performer, right? But then when you see Drake, and I know people, we have one of our best friends, right? Cam Squires talks about Drake all the time, right? And just
right.
in the fact that he still does these certain lyrics and he does this and does that. But when you see Drake live, it's amazing. He is amazing live, right? Or like The Weeknd or Ed Sheeran or someone like that. Like they're amazing performers, right?
Right. You're getting a real performance when you go, and it's not just reciting the song with the track behind you.
Yeah,
I haven't seen Future live.
That's a tough thing with hip hop. It's just natural, right? Because you're kind of just going, like, you have a beat and you rap over it. That's literally what you do.
Right.
But to be able to like engage with a crowd, right? Like Halsey, I saw Halsey a few years ago before like right as that Chainsmokers song comes out, right? So kind of early Halsey,
right?
But she had that ability to just like she could command the crowd, right? Even with a few songs and even like all that type of stuff. Or some people just have it, some people don't have it.
That is true. Some people do. Yeah, it just comes with you naturally, and with practice. Like Lil Wayne, still the king of it. That I Am Music tour, unbelievable. And because you were, like you said with Future, you worry just because, can you do more than just have the hype song and really translate a performance into the crowd. Like, I'm already hyped up to see, and to hear these songs. Like Carter 3 just dropped. I mean, it's still long ago the last time I saw Wayne live, but I mean, it was the best time to see him live. Because Blink-182 tour hasn't gone that well.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
But it was full performance. And like T-Pain, unreal performer. Because I think the best elements that you could do as a rap artist, that's why I want to go see Anderson .Paak live.
Right.
Have your track, but also you have to have the full incorporation of a band, maybe saxophonist, something else that brings the live music element, because that's what I couldn't be a performer that just goes straight off of tracks, because I think it doesn't follow under the full definition of, insanity. You're doing the same thing every day, expecting different results, but kind of does, because you can't do like John Mayer. Slow dancing in a burning room. I'm just gonna do a random solo. Look at me, just ride out with me. I'm gonna play for 2 minutes. I'm gonna change it. I don't have to do the same thing over and over and over again every night. And I think that's what makes it awesome when you see, because Wayne switched it up that night. Or artists that have that ability, Drake doing his, like, making it feel like a club scene in there and just stretching songs. It's cool. He did it differently than obviously having a live band performer, I think. But I would love to be a artist that plays like a guitar or something. It's just there's so much more you can do with that.
Yeah, and I always appreciate people like Justin Timberlake, right, has that full band that goes with him.
Yeah.
And he can, depending on what city he's in, or like if he wants to do a cover or something, right, he can change it up and do different things. I think that just shows the artistry and the musicianship of certain people. And again, it's just tough. Sometimes you're just not going to get that with some guys, depending on like what's like. If you went to go see, I know 6ix9ine's in the news right now, so it's easy to use him, right? If you're going to go see 6ix9ine, like, he's not doing that, right?
No, I did see. All right, did you catch the Travis Scott documentary on Netflix?
No, but I've seen him off his first album.
Kid's live. See, he just like translates his energy into the crowd. I couldn't go to a Travis Scott concert unless I'm in VIP.
It's a lot of energy.
It's a lot of energy. I'm gonna need that energy for myself in my own booth or my own area, because the kid, it's like looking at like a Rage Against the Machines type concert, just mosh pit in the middle. But he puts on a whole performance, which is cool, and it interacts with the entire crowd. So I think his performances are like super dope. But I was just about to like say a point. So I sidetracked myself with Travis Scott, which is awful. Yeah, no, can't remember. You hate when that happens. It's like walking through a door. And you're like, oh, I'm going in this room. I came in here to grab this pencil. And then
I've
you walk
never
in the
had
room.
that happen.
You've never walked through a door. All right, you've never been in another room. And then you were like, I'm going to go in the other room and grab something. And then you walk into said room and you completely forget what you're in here for. Because
I've done that all. I do that every day.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's literally something about switching room, going through the door, and then you're just like, I don't remember what I came in here for. Hate when you lose that thought, and then it takes you a second and you remember it.
I literally walked out of like a meeting today. I was going to get coffee, and I walked past the coffee machine and just like stood in the lobby. What am I doing?
What? Why am I here?
I got coffee.
It's awful. Comes with age, or comes with some CTE. Because that's what I think Antonio Brown is showing signs of right now. Because Buddy is losing his mind out here. I hate to say CTE because it's not something you want to joke about, but we all know he acting a little crazy right now.
Someone actually made a really good point to me. And do you remember the Burfict hit he took 3 years ago?
Oh, yeah.
Had
him laid out on the floor, playoff game, late hit by Burfict, and then next play, Juju Smith came across, boom, laid Burfict out in retaliation. Yeah, I remember that.
Something of, and I correct me if I'm wrong. The Facebook Live stuff happens right after that, right?
I don't remember what happened on Facebook Live.
Remember, I think they win that game, right? He goes on the Facebook Live, and like guys are naked, and people are in the locker room.
That is right. And Mike Tomlin was giving his speech. Luckily, Mike Tomlin just finished up cussing because you knew he was hype, and he just like.
And if you don't know, Mike Tomlin does not talk like he talks in press conferences.
Not at all.
So, and that's interesting. So, listen, I have no idea what the actual issue with Antonio Brown is, but I mean, I'm sure there could be a case made that hit or there's some sort of link to the fact that, you know, it doesn't. Well, let me back up. Him having CTE has nothing to do with the other things he's been doing, right? But it would explain some of the like offbeat behavior with Twitter and the stuff with the Raiders and stuff like that. I'm not talking about the other stuff that he's done.
Yeah, no, he definitely is showing signs of some type of mental.
Right.
I don't want to say he has mental illness, but just like some type of mental breakdown right now, and he needs help. Because outside of football, and I can appreciate this for the Pats and Josh Gordon really helping him mentally, just to get right, letting him take the time he needs. Stepping away from the game for AB, even though he's saying it's voluntary right now, air quotes. It's definitely not voluntary the way he's acted, because no team's going to sign him while the investigation's going on, just because they don't want to dive into that. But you heard it here first. Once it all clears, because threatening, or not even threatening text, investigative text that he sent, I think will be cleared up within 3 weeks. Like Boobie Miles said, 3 weeks is up. I'm ready to play. He's ready to play some football. And you got the Buffalo Bills and the Packers that I think are going to be two suitors who are going to come after. Because Buffalo Bills 3-0 right now.
I don't think the Packers aren't ever signing.
Packers. What you mean? Hold up. This LaFleur offense looking a little stagnant. Defense coming out balling.
The Packers are very similar to a lot of organizations, right? Where it's been run the correct way for a long time. You can argue like their draft picks and other stuff, but like just from a tops down perspective, the way they run their organization, there's no way now the Bills.
If the Bills are sitting at 6, or if they're sitting at 5-1, and keep the fingers crossed, 6-0, AB will be wearing a Buffalo Bills jersey.
I definitely think he plays again. I can see Buffalo. It's gonna be crazy to say this. The Ravens make a ton of sense.
No, they don't.
They do.
I want to hear this.
His nephew, his cousin, right?
Marquise Brown, Hollywood Brown.
Is already on the team. Depending on how, I mean, I don't know if you watched the game yesterday, right? Like Lamar Jackson looked really good, but they threw way too many times, right? If you're going to throw, I think it was 43 times, you're going to throw 43 times, you need somebody else to be able to get open. And to be honest, Antonio Brown's amazing, like within the middle of the field and his out cuts and all that type of stuff.
Right.
Understanding, right, that the NFL and the Ravens botched the whole Ray Rice situation. If he is cleared to play, right, and of course the biggest thing, it's kind of the shitty thing about this stuff, right, is like, to be honest, he probably shouldn't play again. Right, let's put that there. But
Antonio Brown,
it's the NFL. From what we think we know, right, he probably shouldn't play again. Yeah. From what we think we know, he probably shouldn't play again. Right, but it's the NFL. So he probably will. And the Ravens are X amount of years removed from Ray Rice. Because his cousin's there, because they're probably going to need another receiver to help out Lamar Jackson's growth, and the fact that they're going to be – the Steelers aren't there, like they should win the AFC North, all that type of stuff, right?
Right.
How else would you go try to beat a team like the Chiefs or the Patriots in the playoffs, and it'd go get him? It would be to go get him.
That's why I can hear that out. That's why I was thinking with the Bills, if they have a chance to actually beat the Patriots, they will do anything to do that. Just one time. It doesn't matter. They just want to try and beat them one time. Yeah, I can see that, but I can't say that without everything being proven 100%.
No, of course.
That he doesn't deserve to play in the NFL. Yeah, the leaked text came out, but the leaked text was, let me invest it. I want you to look into her. This is what her kids are. And it's AB being very stupid. It's like being, well, why are you going down the mafia route of, hey, look into, I need you to look into this family for me. I need you to do me a favor. Check this family out. Well, I don't know why he's doing that. Wild with the team. Not smart. I wouldn't say by that one thing that I've seen off of pure concrete evidence that he shouldn't play. I'm not like cancel culture right here. I'm not like the cancel culture. Dave Chappelle pointed out exactly. Cancel culture, Sterling. Said, right? Sterling, cancel culture, Mac.
I'm not canceling anybody. I'm just saying with the information I think we've been presented, if it is to be true. Then,
right. 100%. If found to be true.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Apprehensible.
Now, if he's not, like I just said, he'll be playing in the NFL.
Yeah. I was just sitting on the couch Sunday, and I'm just sitting there like, Sundays are just so much more enjoyable football wise than Saturday. And I only say that, like, if you didn't have to go to work on Sunday, I think it's just more, obviously there's more stuff that you can do. You're more invested because you have fantasy football. If you do play fantasy football, I don't know. The games are just a little bit cleaner. It's just nice. It's just nice watching NFL football. I do say still 8:30 Saturday or 7:30 on a Saturday ranks king for whatever game that is, because the atmosphere, the buildup behind it. I don't think there's really a really big game this week, but I think that nothing can really beat that emotionally. But having the slate from like 1 to 4 p.m. slate, those games, because 3:30 kicks off some good games in college football. Yep. Obviously, you say the SEC. And then you have your more high profile games, but you can have some boo-boo games. If you had to sit there, I mean, the Uconn Indiana game would not be fun to watch at all on TV or to go there in the stands. I don't even know if Memorial Stadium in Bloomington sells beer, but I could see you running out with it just being a dry game like that.
It's tough. Like there's so many, like the Cal Ole Miss game, right? Like it came down to like the last play, right? But that was a terrible game.
Yeah, it was.
I mean? It's tough. I think that 12 o'clock start sometimes I don't know. I think it's just a difficult start time. Yeah. I agree. I think that first block of games is always better in the NFL. It's just more compelling. It's obviously the NFL. It's a better product.
Right. That's all.
There's something to the college atmosphere, right? When you're watching like that Georgia atmosphere this past weekend against.
Oh, it's unbelievable. Nothing beats a late night, the primetime game on Saturday. Primetime game beats the Sunday night game 10 times out of 10.
Yeah.
But if we didn't have work the next day, could change that up a bit. You could get more vested a little bit in the game. You could be like, hey, let's go watch this out instead of I got to watch this inside. Got to make sure I'm showered up because I got to go to sleep. I got to wake up early. Got to think about all this type of stuff. But yeah, no, they like the atmosphere for Georgia was unbelievable with the new LED lights. Let me say, whoever is in that business, if you're looking for a good business to hop into, if you want to be a territory rep, look at one of those companies because every company or every stadium is now going to try and do that. You have like a good 2-year run where you can make some serious money running them packages because everybody does those LED lights now. You look at the Brave Stadium.
No,
LED.
who says like what?
Munyon? You ain't heard Munyon?
No.
Hey, Munyon, Skrilla. I mean, everybody says dough. You ain't heard of Munyon? It must be a South Florida thing. I was in Florida for a little bit. You know, it's a South Florida thing. It's a SoFlo thing. You don't know about it.
You were in Tallahassee.
Don't worry about it. Hey, don't worry about it. All right, it's a Florida thing. It's a Florida thing. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know about that Skrilla. Boy, I'm about my Skrilla.
You sound like Jason. Do you watch The Good Place?
The Good Place?
That's what you sound like right now. Jason off of The Good Place.
I don't know who The Good Place is. Have you seen Good Boys?
Good Boys.
That new movie that was, I think, produced by Seth Rogen. It's supposed to be like the young version of Superbad. I
have not seen that. It looks funny though.
I want to check that out. I don't know what The Good Boys is. I feel like why are you trying to insult me?
The Good Place, you mean?
The Good Place.
It's actually one of the only TV shows that I watch. It's like cable.
I'm trying to pick up my cable TV. I haven't done it yet. But let's take a quick dive into these tree charity games on Saturday, along with the slate. Just the Saturday slate. So for 12 o'clock, for 12 o'clock, really the biggest game that interests me. There's
nothing. There's nothing really that's interesting.
I hate to have dead air.
The Texas-Oklahoma game.
Should Michigan still be ranked?
No.
Not at all.
Let's not even look at
Michigan. Should not.
Let's just talk Michigan.
Okay, let's do that because that was a bad performance.
It's not even of course it's the performance, but it's like, what do you do? What do you do if you're Michigan, right? At some point, you have to say, okay, we have a losing record against teams in the top 10. Mm-hmm. We cannot beat Ohio State, even when they try to give us the game when we go to double overtime. We can't win in our bowl games, even when we play like a down Florida State team. Like I guess the question is what did you bring John Harbaugh in to do?
Correct.
And what can someone else do? What could someone else do with the same talent? Because he's gotten a ton of really, really good recruits in there, especially on the defensive side of the ball. But what can someone else bring to this program right now? Right? I think that's the thing you have to look at.
I think Michigan is at the point where Alabama used to be before they figured out or before they got Tua really like. They don't even have like a game manager. I was going to say that they're at the point where Alabama used to have good defense, game manager.
Yeah, but they won every game.
No, not before. I'm talking before Nick Saban. You had Kenneth Darby in the backfield with Tyron Prothro. I'm talking about that there.
They weren't good though.
They weren't bad, but they had good defense. Offense could be very hit or miss, but you still had a good Alabama team. And then obviously Nick Saban comes in, and then you have the real like prolific game managers, Greg McElroy, AJ McCarron, all the way up until you finally have a change up with Jalen Hurts and Tua. I think you're at that point, but then like you said, why would you bring in Harbaugh for that when he's supposed to be a quarterback whisperer? No quarterback, Willie Spate, O'Corn, and Shea Patterson from Ole Miss. No one has transformed into this prolific looking quarterback.
But they don't even have like a Denard Robinson, like no one that's like just explosive out there. You know what I mean?
I think their top receiver is Peoples Jones, but you haven't had that, and you really haven't had that back since
Mike Hart.
Mike Hart, yeah, and that was who was the coach back then? Oh, cuz
No, that was Lloyd was still the coach, right? Because that's when they lost to App State.
Was Lloyd the coach?
And
Okay.
then they got Brady Hoke.
Brady Hoke, and then Rich Rod, who was there for all of 2 seasons. Why don't they run him out, Harbaugh out like they ran Rich Rod out?
I think Rich Rod was just like not what they needed to. I don't. There's something about when you look on the sideline that's like at least Jim Harbaugh
looks like Michigan.
Looks like Michigan. Like Rich Rod just did not look like Michigan.
No,
you can't lose and then not look Michigan.
That's a good point. I mean, he's got the hat, he's got the glasses. He's losing looking sexily Michigan. We can give him that. Looking exactly fits the part. But why do you bring him in and you don't have the production that you think you should have had from what everybody is toting him as? And the defense can only I think Saturday was just the culmination of your defense keeping these games close for you, for the offense to finally have and string along the drives. And sometimes the defense is going to have a bad game and you need the offense there. And I've come from a system where you can't give up 10 points knowing that your offense won't put up 10 points. And so that's the pressure of the defense. And then you have the days where it's like, we ain't here today. It's not working.
And you can tell
Taylor's running all over us.
When he scored that, I think it was the second one, that long one.
Yeah.
The game was over.
Yeah. There was nothing you could do, because Don Brown's defense, if you don't know, it's very aggressive. And if you don't fill your lanes correctly, there's going to be a gap. Or if you overflow the cutback lane, like that touchdown was right there. I mean, everybody just, I don't know if they misread it on the defense, but sometimes somebody can have your number, and that's when you hope your offense is going to be there, because this is going to be a shootout. We will get a stop for you guys, but until then, y'all need to score. And Michigan does not do that when it really matters. Yeah, they started their games last year by beating people, first game or later in the season, they started rolling off 40-20 or whatever. But in these big games, it just hasn't been there. So the seat's hot.
How do you think that bus ride was back for Michigan?
Ooh. That's one where you don't say a word.
You don't say a word. That's the toughest thing about one of those bus rides is all right, you're supposed to be really good. Wisconsin's good. They probably flew back, to be honest with you. But even on the plane, you just there's no expectation for you to do anything. And the thing is too, even if you got a text message from somebody or somebody's like, hey, we're doing this when you get back, blah blah blah. You can't have any facial. You can't react to anything.
No, not at all. You could have got the most. You could have got the most live text in the world. Hey man, Drake coming through tonight. We got the VIP package. I know y'all lost, but come on out here and turn up real quick or something. I don't know. You get something along those lines, and you, like you said, keep the most straight face in the world. Nah, I don't know. I can't do the little iPhone text bubble buttons to make it sound like I'm texting, but you have to text back, not show any emotion, because let your coach catch you slipping with a smile on your face.
So who was the worst coach for y'all with that? Would it be the weight coach coming around? Was it one of the assistant coaches, or was it the actual head coach?
Head coach come down on you, obviously. But then so the head coach sets the tone, and then assistants, all the rest of the assistant coaches just have to follow suit, because you got to switch it up. If you're not in line, then you look subordinate. So
some assistant coaches even take it to another level too.
Oh,
right?
take it to the absolute next level. And it's why are you being so extra? You don't need to do this. We already understand we lost. Maybe we strung along 2 losses, but you don't need to be this extra. See, your foot is on the line by an inch. That inch is why we lost by 60 points last week. No, it's not.
Right. It's trying to make it out on the bus. What are you talking about?
Sometimes you need to jump in that water. A lot of y'all are out here not jumping in that water because why? You think you look too good, you too cool for school to be out there. You ain't trying to be paddling with us and struggling with us. See, that's why we're playing bad. That makes, I don't know what you're saying. You're just throwing all this out here. You're just trying to yell. There you have those coaches that just want to catch you with just start yelling. But you always have to appreciate your one coach that like just gives you that look like,
right,
I don't know what he's doing.
right,
We all know this ain't him.
right, exactly, right.
This ain't you.
You always had that one coach that was like the ultimate like players coach, and he would like slowly start to kind of come back to the back of the bus, right, and try to loosen people up and be like, hey, gotta get back to practice, like gotta do this, gotta do that.
Yeah. Man, I know coach is tripping, but y'all just gotta do what y'all gotta do. If you want this to change, y'all gotta change some things with yourself. And honestly, I love when a coach does that for me because it's like I appreciate it when it's the fire's hot in here and people start losing their mind. You just have somebody that comes in calm, cool, collected, like, hey, this is rough, this is life, but just flip stuff up for you and myself. I ain't saying this just for y'all. I need my life to be a little easier over here too, so I can help y'all out. And let's get this thing going. But yeah, you do have who you don't have to name drop, but how many of like the chill coaches did you have when it was getting rough just to come back and be like, hey, did y'all have like 2 or 3 or just one?
It's tough. You don't have that many coaches in baseball, so it was always like our volunteer assistant that was always like the player, like because he's a volunteer assistant, typically kind of younger guy.
Yeah.
Would kind of come back there. So, and you're kind of just like waiting on it because that's kind of the first time you can like talk, and you're trying to like essentially someone has to start talking to him, and it's kind of like a relayed message, right? Because it's like the coaches are too mad to like come back. Just so stupid, right?
Right.
But that's what finally, like, as the silence starts to break, you can slowly be like, "Yo, like, what, like, are we doing? Like, we doing like what are we doing? We doing something like, you know what I mean? You can just like start talking naturally, like, man, like I can't believe that 3-1 count. It should have been a ball. That bases loaded, dead ball, like whatever, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had that, but then I had an amazing. So we had a guy like my sophomore year. We had like different weight trainers like sophomore year, junior year, senior. Our guy left from sophomore year. He went to like Miami, and he was awesome. So after he leaves, this guy comes in that was kind of like a manager of ours. And then he starts being. He essentially kind of takes over like the weight training stuff. He does it for like a year and a half until we get our new guy that came in, and he's actually with Skipping in Arizona State.
Yeah.
And he went from like being cool with us and like being pretty much like a manager and like seeing us out at bars and stuff like that to like a completely different person. So he would be one of those dudes is like I forget what game it was. I think we lost to somebody like we shouldn't have lost. I think it was like Connecticut State or something like that. And no one said it. We're like no one's like talking, no one's saying anything. And like someone like dropped something or whatever. And he's like 5'3" also. What if he's listening, like whatever. And he like runs to the back of the bus and starts just like yelling, what are you doing right now? Because then you gotta like you think actually something happened or like we're actually talking about something. So you gotta like take your headphones off. And then you start listening to this like asinine thing. And you're like, okay, well, that was ridiculous.
That is ridiculous. That reminded me of a story, personal story. Getting yelled at in a team meeting for stirring tea.
Well, that seems ridiculous.
It was pretty ridiculous.
Also, why were you stirring tea though?
Because my sugar didn't stir.
That doesn't.
Like I took a sip of my tea, not talking to anybody, looking at the projector, not talking, paid attention, took a sip of my tea, said it's a little flat, all it didn't mix in, and then I took my top off and I'm going like this, just stirring it. And then I started getting yelled at. It was the most ridiculous thing I've ever gotten yelled at before in my life.
I mean, did they say that's why you missed that punt?
No, that was not the reason. Probably the funniest thing I remember, we were on like a 2-game slide and one of my teammates came out wearing a just like a sleeve on his leg. Normal, nothing different. We're in the stretch lines. Hey, take that damn sleeve off. That's why we're losing. I was like, how does that equate to losing? Because he has a sleeve on? I will never be that. I was so confused because like you said, like he starts yelling because you think something happened, and then it comes out for the reason why he's yelling. And I'm like, you're just having a bad day. That's the one thing if I can give one piece of advice to a high school kid, or if you're in college now and you haven't gotten to that point yet or experienced it, do not be that guy that catches it just because you're in the wrong place at the wrong time.
It's the worst.
It's the worst.
And you know when it's going on too, and like the unfortunate thing, and I guess the thing too, when you're that mental state of like you're an athlete and you're trying to like be a subordinate, like you're trying to be like a soldier in a sense, and not to, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
You can't say anything, or you can't do anything, right?
You can't. You have to take it, and you hope to God that you win next week, but you know that yourself and whatever you're doing, you got to ball. You just ball out with it.
Wait, real quick. That reminded me, friend of the show, Cameron's brother, Chris. He was yelled at during like we were doing a cool down lap.
Yeah.
And one of the coaches like got in his face, was like, "Take pride in your cool down lap." He's like, how am I supposed to do that?
I'm purposely supposed to be like jogging and walking. What do you mean?
What the fuck?
I just want to know, like, what is going through the mind? Like, I understand there's pressures. It's college. It's not like high school. You could lose your job, possibly, if things don't look like the trending. Or if you're a strength coach, that's usually another complete different department. But still, like, what makes you yell at something that doesn't warrant that type of response? I just can't wrap my head about it. I don't think I'd ever get like that upset, that mad. I'd be passionate about stuff, but I couldn't do it. But it makes for funny stories later.
Yeah, it does.
But I knew that that plane ride was very long. So this is normally the dynamic, and then we'll switch it up. When you ride on the bus or the plane, normally it goes coaches and family, depending on the travel. Hierarchy of coaches, usually head coach is always in the front. And then it trickles down by kind of wherever coaches like to preference for seating or hierarchy a little bit. Maybe your AD's on the plane with you, or somebody of importance up close too. You don't want to make eye contact with them if it's a bad loss. You want to keep it pushing, because they'll always be like, hey, let's do it this week. All right, we ready for this one. Let's do it. And you see them on the plane, and they don't even make eye contact. Don't even want to look your way. And then it goes, obviously, I think like you normally see like seniors, and then all the way in the back, you have your freshmen. The freshmen are the ones, and sophomores are the ones that usually root for everybody, because they haven't had that much invested in the game, or they're not playing as much. So they're like, I didn't do this today. I'm not the cause of this. I'm a chill. Matter of fact, bring me 2 more bags of chips. Let me have a feast back here and enjoy myself. And that's where it goes wrong. So that's normally how the dynamic is broken down. Good trip down memory lane. Always funny. Well, who was the worst you ever saw? I kind of just like this topic. Who was the worst person, or what person did you see like get yelled at the absolute worst, and like they started questioning probably themselves or ability?
That's tough.
This is a tough question. I
do have it. This is terrible. I'm not gonna say his name, but
protect the names for the innocent, of course.
He got yelled at so bad that he ran down the third base line.
You gotta laugh at that point.
Like he was so mint. He was just so like
he's shook.
Everyone's like, you don't like. What can you do at that point? Like you can't do anything. As everybody, right? Like you're just like, what? Wait, what? How did you do that? How long have you been playing baseball? Oh my god, it was so funny.
Oh,
that was definitely the worst. And you feel so bad because like he's getting it all practice.
Yeah.
And he finally does something good. Like he got a hit, and then he literally ran the wrong way. You're like, okay.
Damn. I want to say the worst I ever seen. This was in a meeting. I want to protect names out here, but the worst that I remember seeing One of them, honestly, one of them could have been myself. Not even for like team meeting or anything like that. But when we lost like 10-7, and when you have a close game like that, it wasn't like off of talent, but I got a good yell on that one, but it wasn't like life taking.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'd probably say it was in a position meeting, and forgot like what exactly happened, but like some stuff transpired outside as well, and then also it made its way into the meet or into the team, and then along with like some plays on the field. I don't even know. I don't know because there's so much. I don't know if I can say it, but long story short, I just remember
you can't actually say the speeches.
It's tough because I'll stop on the story because to be able to make it make sense and be funny, I have to say it word for word, and I don't want to go down that route. But just the look on Buddy's face after, I felt bad for him. Like sometimes you just want to give somebody a hug and just be like, you know what, man, it's gonna be all right. Like it's gonna be okay. Like we will have another day tomorrow, Lord willing. We will wake up and we will keep on rising.
It's tough when they challenge like everything about your being, not just like your manhood or like whatever. It's like your existence as a person, and you're like, damn. Well, like I guess I shouldn't do any of this. Like,
yeah, maybe I am not cut out for this.
Those are tough days. Those are really tough days.
Those are the only time I didn't think I ever was cut out for college football. It wasn't like meeting. It was just the weight room, and it was a punishment day for the freshmen because apparently people weren't listening, and this coach wanted to go off the deep end for how we had to get punished for it. Ended up running like 3,300s, and then some of those hundreds were incorporated with a sandbag, dragging it down and back. Awful. We got back in my room. I was like, man, if this is college football, I don't want to do this. This is not what I signed up for because this makes no sense whatsoever. You know what? We can start off with that one next week. Workouts that made no sense.
I've got a million of them. I broke my leg doing one.
You did. I think that's a good segue to lead off on. You got college sports again this weekend, like every weekend in the fall. Not too many great games, obviously. Let's just say I'll highlight Auburn, Mississippi State could be a very good one at 7:00, low key. And then let's go with 3:30 maybe for the USC Washington game. So I look out for those. Notre Dame will probably steamroll Virginia at 3:30 as well. Not really a lot of good games. These are one of those times where you just go out to the bar, stuff on the background, or go to a restaurant, have some people over. You don't necessarily have to invest yourself in watching a game, but you have football on just to fill the air up. So we appreciate everybody. Continue to listen. We love the support. This is